Good evening and very warm welcome to all the dignitaries, respected leaders of the accountancy profession, eminent speakers, and members of the SAFA bodies. It's indeed a privilege to welcome all of you for today's webinar on Bridging the Mindset Gap, an initiative aimed at enabling professionals to move from technical competence to professional excellence, from routine practice to value lead practice, and from individual effort to scalable impact. Today's two sessions have been carefully curated to help members reflect and reprogram their professional approach for meaningful and sustainable growth. So, so to begin with the webinar, may I request CA Prabin Kumar Jhaji, Vice President SAFA, to kindly deliver the welcome address today. First of all, I would introduce CA Prabin Kumar Jha, sir. He is the immediate past president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nepal, and has been actively associated with ICAI Nepal and SAFA in various leadership roles. With over 25 years of professional experience, he has contributed extensively in audit, due diligence, taxation, risk assessment, advisory services, and quality control in professional practice. His leadership reflects a strong blend of professional depth, institutional commitment, regional vision for the accountancy profession. Sir, may I request you to kindly address the gathering? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Priyansuji. Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. My sincere greetings to the SAFA President, Kabir Saab, Committee Chair, who will be joining in a while, members of SAFA SMP Committee and ICAI's Committee of Members in Practice, both the speakers. One of the speaker I understand today is the committee chair himself, because there has been a certain change in the program because of some exigencies happening. The secretariat team, all the distinguished personalities attending this webinar from all across the region. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all. I presume all of you are already aware that SAFA is a forum of professional accountancy bodies in the region. We call it PAOs. And its mission is to position, maintain, and develop the accountancy profession in our South Asia region. We at SAFA follow a collaborative approach to work towards achieving our objectives. Organizing webinars on different topics in collaboration with different POs are one of the activities that SAFA does to work towards its mission. And this Bridging the Mindset Gap series, which is held on a weekly basis, and there has been many weeks where we have been given an opportunity to address, is one of the activities that we are proud of, and because this committee is delivering on a weekly basis. I thank the committee chair, members, and all supporting team members for organizing this, and I believe it is very helpful for everyone attending these sessions. Since I'm here to actually talk on behalf of Madhukarji, who normally is the one who starts the session. There are so many activities that ICAI has done lately for its members, and I find it motivating for other POs in the region like Nepal and Bangladesh and Pakistan, etc., and Sri Lanka to collaborate with ICAI and work towards achieving the same impact that ICAI has been able to achieve. I understand the whole idea of this weekly series is to show to our fellow professionals about the wide range of services that we can provide, especially if we can change our traditional mindset. Today, the first speaker, CA Binay Thiagarajaji, will talk about reprogramming values, behavior, and attitude for scaling up, which I understand will guide us about improvements in our thinking process, our mindsets, and also approach as to the scale up of our practice, as to how to scale up our practices. The second presentation was supposed to be given by Gurinder Singh ji, which you must have understood from the brochures that was shared, but because of some problem at his personal end, he will not be delivering the presentation today, and some other day he will be there. In his place, however, the chairperson of the committee himself will be making the presentation, and he will join in a while. Both this session will definitely be, I understand, will be helpful for all of us who had joined today. And I look forward to hearing from both the speakers. Finally, again, I would like to thank the Secretariat team, committee members, committee chair, and the eminent speaker, and all the participants from different POs attending this webinar. Welcome once again. Thank you and namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir, for your thoughtful welcome remarks. And it's now our honor to invite Mr. Mohammad Himayu Kabir, sir, the President, SAPA, to kindly share his address. Mr. Kabir is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Bangladesh and a highly respected professional leader with over more than 45 years of rich experience across profession, industry, governance, and public policy. He has served as a president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Bangladesh, vice president of SAFA, and has contributed to several nation and regional bodies in the areas of fiscal laws, corporate governance, financial management, business strategy, and accountancy development. His vast experience and visionary leadership continue to guide the profession across the South Asian region. Sir, may I request you to kindly enlighten us with your words. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Priyanshuji, for your kind introduction. CA Probin Kumar Jha, respected Vice President SAFA. I understand CA Madhukar Hiragangaji will join us for just within an hour. I also take note of his expected presence, and also our one of the eminent speaker for today, Mr. CA Binoy Thiagaraz. And I also take note the unfortunate the health ground reason, our second speaker, Mr. Gurindil Pal Singh, who is sick. In his absence here, our today's chair, Say Madhukarji, will take care of the second session. Distinguished colleagues, dear professionals from across South Asia, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to all of you to this crucial webinar series, aptly themed Bridging the Mindset Gap. I must begin by commending the SMP Committee of SAFA, operating jointly with the members in Practice Committee of ICI, for conceptualizing a series that addresses the most vital catalyst for professional transformation, our mindset. We navigate the complexities of an increasingly automated, data-driven, and highly regulated financial ecosystem. The traditional boundaries of practice are rapidly dissolving. For our small and medium practices, this era presents both an existential challenge and an unprecedented frontier of growth. However, the barrier to scaling up or transitioning into a strategic advisor is rarely a lack of technical knowledge. Our professionals are technically brilliant. The real barrier is often an invisible one, the mindset gap. Bridging this gap means moving you from a compliance-centric posture and leaning into a proactive, value-driven advisory role. Today's webinar targets the exact pillars needed to build this bridge. The first topic today, the CA practice OS, that is operating system, reprogramming value, behavior, and attitude for scale, challenges us to look inward at our business models and professional attitudes. When we speak of a professional operating system, we are talking about the underlying mental framework, the invisible layer of core values, behaviors, and habits that runs our daily practice. Just as a computer requires an upgraded operating system to run modern, advanced software, a professional practice requires a structural upgrade in this mental programming to achieve true scale. We cannot solve modern business complexities if our foundational mindset remains stuck in a legacy framework. This requires us to first redefine value by shifting away from selling mere billable hours towards delivering tangible outcomes. In the modern economy, true value is derived from strategic insights, predicting predictive intelligence, and safeguarding public trust rather than simply processing transactions. Furthermore, enabling our behavior for scale means moving from a single practitioner mindset to an enterprise leadership framework. To achieve this, we must focus on building robust systems, institutionalizing our processes, and embracing a collaborative professional ecosystem. This structural upgrade is incomplete without the second focus of today's session, behavioral and interpersonal competencies. In an era where routine analytical tasks can be managed by advanced technologies, our human centric capabilities become our ultimate competitive advantage. Technical excellence gets us through the door, but interpersonal empathy, emotional intelligence, and effective communication build lifelong partnership of trust with our client and stakeholder. As professional accountants, we are not just crunching numbers. We are managing relationships, navigating complex human behaviors, leading teams, and advising business owners through periods of intense market volatility. True competence is the synthesis of technical mastery and emotional maturity. To all practitioners joining us virtually today across the South Asian region, SAFA is deeply committed to ensuring that our SMPs are not left behind in this rapid march of progress. We want to see our regional practices become agile, globally competitive, and deeply impactful anchors of economic growth. I urge you to absorb the insight from our stellar speaker today, challenge your own established routines, and actively look for areas where our professional operating system needs an immediate upgrade. Whilst acknowledging my great appreciation to our Vice President CA Praveen Kumar Jo for his supportive leadership, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to CA Madhukar Hiragangaji and his dedicated team for driving this initiative, and to our today's guest speaker for sharing their valuable expertise. With these words, it is my distinct honor to declare this webinar formally inaugurated. I wish you all a highly engaging, reflective, and transformative session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful words of wisdom. So before we proceed to the sessions, we would like to inform you the participants, our eminent speaker, Mr. Gurinder Pal Singh ji, who was scheduled to address today on behavioral and interpersonal competencies, will unfortunately not be able to join us today due to some medical exigencies in his family. We convey our sincere good wishes for his family member and look forward to have this valuable session on the suitable future occasion. The sessions will be now be taken by C. Madhukar Narayan Hirgangi, Chairman, Members in Practice Committee, instead of Mr. Gurinder Pal Singh ji, on the topic intellectual humility. So it's our pleasure to introduce the first speaker of the day, CA Vinay Tyagratskar, who will speak on the topic the CA practice operating system, reprogramming value, behavior, and attitude for scale. CA Vinay Tyagrat ji is a fellow chartered accountant, DISA qualified, and also holds a BCom and LLB qualifications. With over 25 years of experience in taxation, business consulting, RERA, and real estate advisory, he brings a rare combination of technical depth, entrepreneurial outlook, and practical professional insight. He has delivered more than 400 sessions at ICAI and ICSI and several reputed professional and industry forums. and is also an author of a regular contributor on RERA and related professional areas. Today, he will help us look at CA practice as an operating system where value, behavior, and attitude need to be consistently upgraded for scale, sustainability, and practical relevance. Sir, we warmly welcome you and request you to kindly take the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Priyanshu. Thank you for the introduction. Nice introduction. Thank you so much. Always happy to work with the ICAI. Always happy to share my insight, inputs relating to the profession and especially with our professional members. Thank you, Mohammed Umayyan Kabirji, for being with us on this journey of bringing out a Bridging a Mindset Gap series of the CMP of ICI. Thank you, Praveen Jha sir, for you also being with us from the different parts of the world. And always I look at Madhukar Hiregangi sir, the CMP committee chairperson, as a different perspective always, because he brings a new in every thought he made and every action he takes. This one of that outcome of that is this program of bridging the mindset gap of the professional colleague, that is chartered accountants. So with this small, I just wanted to share my presentation. While sharing the presentation, I'll bring the various thought process which I have gone through while preparing this presentation, and also the practical aspects relating to the presentation. Priyanshu, the screen is visible.
Yes, sir. You can do the full screen of the presentation, sir.
Is that okay now?
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So little more before I start presenting. Okay, when the committee, especially Mr. Priyanshu, reached out to me, this is a program and this is a series of the program on the bridging the mindset gap, the Chartered Accountants Practice Operating System. So what we know is the operating system for the computers or the probably the various applications, maybe a mobile or a computer or a laptop or for any machinery. But when it comes to the operating system for the chartered accountants, it's very difficult to define. Probably we have not thought of, or we have not defined so far. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to rethink and come back and share about this reprogramming the value, behavior, and attitude for the purpose of scale. Whatever I'm going to talk in today's session or today's webinar is the purpose to scale the practice, only in the intention of how do the professions can scale the practice, considering the value, behavior, and attitude is only I'm going to talk. Some of the conditions which are mentioned by the institute is, one is in terms of the sorry, did I lost something? What is happening?
Your screen is unshared.
Is that okay now?
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming, right? Yeah, perfect.
No,
Yeah,
it's yeah. Now it is there.
is there, right? Okay, okay, got it. Thank you, thank you. So, the objective of this webinar, I wanted to reiterate, probably to spell out before I start, transition from a compliance-driven practice to a sustainable, future-ready, consultancy-oriented professional practice is something is the background and objective. If you ask me, whatever I present today is is something which is the only way that you can transition may not be. Okay, this is what we have done as an organization in my organization, and I've seen the scalability. We have grown in the past few years. That is what I'm presenting to all the professional colleagues. It is not that like it's I'm presenting a theory. Whatever I practice in my organization, I made it as some PPT slides, taking the input from entire my office team. You give me what is the value, what is the attitude, what is the behavior you observed during the your existence in the organizations, and which has made individually was you scaled up, individually you have grown, and as an organization is also grown. And as I mentioned, let's be very clear, it is not a technical lecture series. It's not a motivational. I'm not giving a motivational. I'm not bringing quote from anywhere else. It's purely my experience I'm bringing, my journey I'm bringing in with an intention of scaling up the profession is what is that I would like to mention it. Okay. And personally and professionally, that has enabled experienced professionals to grow personally and professionally. And as I mentioned, these are some of the expectation. I want each of the participants, I do not know how many are participating in this program across India. I want each one of you to hear or listen from this expectation. So probably end of this session, if you take one or two of whatever which you're not practicing in your organization, go back and start implement. That is beginning of growth of that aspect in your office or organization, which I can tell you how that mindset behaved under pressure or situation, how it shaped decision growth, leadership, client handling, innovation, or a practice transformation, how members can practically adopt the same in their own professional journey. This is where I would like to touch upon. It's a straight away you can copy this process, you can implement in your organization, because it is a time tested in my office, my organization is what I would like to say that. Sir, good evening, sir. Good evening,
Good
Madhukar,
evening,
sir.
Vinay.
Yes, sir. I'm continuous, sir.
You should continue.
Yes, sir. So value, behavior, and attitude. I call it as a VBA. Why it matters, how it develops, where professionals fail without it. It's very important for us to see that the every step I climb, I have to go back and see, okay, is that something which I have a risk to fall back, the risk to down. If I have a risk, then what is the support system I should build not to fall back? If I to fall back, it only a one step I should fall back, not the 10 steps. So that is what we should look into at every step. How every step we rose and move to the next level. How it helped in practical situation, how member can cultivate it. Cultivate is a practice. The moment we start practicing, that become a habit. As I mentioned, whatever I'm going to present today is my application in my office. It's an experience, and various time these are all the tools for me to make a decision making. Of course, there are failures. There cannot be a guaranteed results. There would be a shortcoming. There are failures. From that, we have learned something that so that I cannot repeat that in the future. Practical implementation, I will share you how the behavioral has transferred from the top to the lowest, from an office boy to a partner. I can give you some of the practical examples with the presentation. Probably this is a top 25 key challenges in CA firms, whatever be the size. That is what I have captured. Probably you can take a pen and paper, because I can't expect you to type it in a chat. It doesn't reach me. Whoever be listening in this, I want you to take and put 1, 2, 3, 4 and start writing what is the challenges in your firm you are going through. I'll present you 25. Probably this 25 is for me. Maybe you may have more than 25, or maybe you have achieved out of 25, you have 10, I don't have a problem. Remaining 15 is what I have it. So, or you may have a 50 as a challenges. Irrespective of size of your firm, the CS will have this. The larger the size, the bigger the challenge. Only I can tell you. Because my son is always asking, sir, Adani's, Ambani's, they have huge money. Still, why they borrow it? Why they come to the public to raise the money? I always say to him, The bigger they are, they need the big money for them to play a bigger role. That is why it is not the size, it's always what is the size of the business or size of the play, size of the challenge they take it. To that extent, there are concerns, there are limitations. So I'll just run through it. I'm sure that most of you have an experience of this. One is a commoditization of a compliance services. Why this is very important? What we have is it's not a commodity. What I have is a service now. The moment if a service is there, scale is an important. Scale is a challenge. It's always depending on the human. The moment it's the dependency on the human, the chances of error is there, chances of delay is there. These are one of the big challenge, irrespective of the size. Commoditization. That is the reason many of the tools are available now for us to automate the process at least to the maximum extent. As simple as sending the reminder to the client, this is a due date and you should be ready with this information. If you put a calendar for next 12 months, you make that as communication as automated, irrespective of dependency of any of your employee or the partner, the mail will go. Similar, next step is how do you commoditize that services itself? I said communication. The communication is a beginning part of it. Services is the delivery. How do I commoditize? It's a challenge. Talent acquisition and retention, the big challenge. Every industry faces it. A ordinary petty shop, a small hotel to the biggest of the biggest organization, the big four, the top one also fail to keep this as a talent acquisition and retention. And what is that required for everybody to do it? Even I have the problem, you have the problem. Probably I may have a 50% problem, you may have 48%, but still it's a problem. What is the action I have taken? What should be my value? What should be my attitude? What is my behavior is nothing but an action for me to retain it. I'll brief you. The fee pressure and the value perception, always a challenge. The moment you are part of the traditional services, my only attestation, always client feel that the attestation, the audit, tax filing is of no benefit to him because the government mandated it and you as a chartered accountant, you're doing it and you're asking the fees. The pressure is always there. I'll give you a live example. In the last 8 to 10 years, we handled one LLP, which has grown. We have incorporated a LLP. Over the 10 years, they have grown 10 times of it. It's a compounded growth. It is not the simple growth. And their turnover was about 8 crore rupees at the end of the 10th year. I've sent a bill for 2.5 lakh rupees, which is nothing but compounded 10% of fees increment year on year. I have not done anything. 10%, 6 to 7% could be my inflation, and another 2 to 3% is about my inflation in my organization because I have to increase my cost, my rental, my salary. So 10% is an average increase in my fees. I have done it. And the 10th year, the new partners come back and said, the other like any other CA has given 1.25 lakhs rupees. That is exactly the 50% of it. I don't have an answer to it. Our own professional friends, he is qualified about 2-3 years. For him, 1.25 lakhs is a big money. For me, 2.5 lakhs, a 25 years of firm, I've seen this 10 years growth from the 0 to 8 crores or 9 crores of rupees of turnover in a service industry, 2.5 lakhs. I had only two options because they're very adamant on that. No, sir, we'll move out because 2.5 to 1.25 is a big money. Or you tell me that what you can do it. Tell me, a good client of mine, very, very ethical client, very honest client. But this is what the situation is. I spoke to my younger partner, go back and discuss, see what best you can do it. Look at what is my costing. What is my costing to render that services? If there is a margin available, please reduce it. From 2 lakh rupees, we have come back to 1.75 lakh rupees because there was 1.25 lakhs. We were at 2.5 lakh rupees. My partner has looked into, sir, about 1.6, 1.5 is my costing, sir. We'll make it 1.75. This is what the fee pressure. At all point of time, I have it irrespective of the size. If you ask me, sir, Big Four, even Big Four will have this pressure. I heard in the recent interaction, Big Four has a huge pressure on the fee structure. They are now getting into MSMEs also for the audit. Imagine they're getting into MSMEs audit also. So that is how the fee pressure across the table, across the industry, across the size of the firm we have it. Then this is a big one, compliance to advisory practice. We all say that advisory practice. How many of we achieved is the question. How many of we achieved is advisory practice? Advisory practice require a specialized knowledge, a deep knowledge, and also efforts to be made by most of all of us who aspiring to take the advisory practice. Are we making that much of effort to become an expert to come to an advisory practice? People can say that we'll go to Girish Ahuja. Why? He talks only about taxation. Which taxation? He talks only about income taxation. In income tax, what he talks? He talks about business, not about the trust. Trust he may understand, but only thing is that is advisory practice. And as long as you're holding compliance practice, also I wanted to advise where is the time for you to spare time to expert yourself, sharpen ourselves. It's a big challenge unless somebody leaves that compliance practice, get into advisory mode. Probably about 2 years time is required for them to people to recognize and please go to them. They can give a specialized services, which is a challenge. And regulatory changes, this is inevitable. Like income tax goes on changing year on year. By the time I understand there is a change. GST, I understand change. So unless you are the specialized and expert in that particular field, getting the update itself is a challenge. And that much of regulatory challenge. Example, minimum wages are changed. Labor code has come. Income tax GST, though always it changes and respective industry changes. Like SEBI says something, how do I know it? FEMA says something, how do I know it? It's always a challenge, not only for a small, even the large firms also. And leadership development, succession planning and leadership development, probably these are one of the aspects which we continuously engage in our organization. How do I develop the leader? How do I have my succession? Honestly, we have transitioned the senior partners role to the junior partners in last 12 months or maybe in last 15 months. So that the risk of the succession planning doesn't mean my son will come or my partner daughter will come. No, that is not a succession planning. How the new partner, how the new person can take over, how they can continue to have the leadership. One is the development, second in terms of the continuity. And technology and the digital transformation, probably this is the everywhere, wherever we go, it has highly spoken, highly deliberated, highly discussed. But what we have done, what is that I achieved in my organization compared to last month to this month, compared to last year to this year, how much I've automated, how much application I've started using, how much our employees have started using is very important. I do not know how many of you practice it. My presentation, what we do, I can showcase it. Of course, if you ask me, are you 100%? Even we are not 100% because the ecosystem is such a way that it need investment. If you wanted to serve in a single platform also doesn't permit for us to do it because of the previous reason. Because regulatory changes, I have to put my hand into the application. It's a huge money. So I have to depend on the multiple application where I request the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India should look into this as a platform and recommend to the committee or the president. We should have a single platform. It may be a very huge, it may cost about 100, 200, 500 crores. I don't know at this point of time. And we should have a single platform for our members to take the benefit of this digital usage of a technology, starting an organization. Tomorrow, I wanted to set a chartered accountancy office. If I log into that application, which is of the institute, I can free flow to every aspect of it. Maybe accounts, HR, practice management, GST tool, income tax tool, FEMA tool, whatever maybe. That is how it should be. And today, honestly, there are no tools available. If tools available, which is not updated, and it's a very expensive. It may cost a crores and crores also, and we cannot afford to buy it. Artificial intelligence and automation, I will not talk about artificial intelligence because most of you know what does the artificial intelligence, and probably we started using directly, indirectly. Client expectations. We know that the 365 days what we have it, and due dates are known to everybody. Nobody come on time. Probably if you categorize ABC client, category of a client, category A will come in time because they have some expectations from the management. Their management is good. They wanted to proactive, complete well in advance. And B may, okay, if you follow up, they will come. Category C client will never come. They say that it's as good as my business of you chasing them, getting the data, collecting it, deliver it. Absolutely impossible, absolutely difficult to chase a client, category C client, or maybe you have a D client also, category D. It's a very dangerous. D means a dangerous. Better to drop them in terms of from your list for them rather than holding it. And non-traditional service providers is a very highly uh, uh, mm, available across. You have income tax practitioners, you have GST practitioners, you have your online nowadays. Online portals are providing the what is that called incorporation services for 7,500 rupees or 10,000 rupees. Where do we have? What value they're getting it? And if you get tell a client 50,000 rupees is my incorporation services versus 10,000 somebody is offering online, where do I compete? Whatever you try to tell to a startup company who will not doesn't have a money, we should always look at 10,000 rupees is a better. Somebody was telling, the report says that some online service provider got the registration of their LLP. Go back and look at that. Most of the documents are forged. Most of the documents are not correct. Somebody's document uploaded with somebody's name, details, and the that is what. How do I compete? If the same thing done by a chartered accountant, imagine what will happen from the DC committee. What not is possible is all is the challenge. Specialized and niche area practices. I don't know how many we practice the niche area practice. If to practice, it's a good opportunity for us to scale. Scaling beyond the founding partner is always a challenge unless the succession plan development of the leadership is a continuous basis. It is not that when I attain 45, when I attain 60 years, I'll start looking at the scaling up or the leadership development. Is the day one the organization should start looking at that. Probably the person may not be with me, but you have a satisfaction of you developed a leader. He may be useful for some other CA organization, or he may start. Nothing wrong in that. Alignment and governance issues. We all know that any two human beings have a four views. How do you align your with the partner? Whether in terms of the mindset, in terms of his efforts, his knowledge, his skill sets, is always a challenge versus the governance issue. If the one partner is doesn't gel with the governance or the whatever be the required from the institute ethical standard or the general ethics, what we call it as how do we align with that is always. That is why most of the CA firms we call it as a paper partners. Your job, your partner, your client is yours, my client is my. So that is how the challenge which comes. Client concentration risk, probably it may not be for everybody. For a few, it may have that. Work-life balance and professional burnout. Don't ask this for our profession. We know that how our family members do say about us, or even we say about how much the balance which we bring as a part of our profession. Knowledge management and skill upgradation, which I have told you again in the previous slide, how much is important for us to develop ourselves about the skills. Business development and client acquisition, how many CS we do this activity? That is a question we should ask. Do we have a separate person who I don't call it as a business development, at least a practice development. Institute is doesn't permit for us to do any development, but however, how do I develop my practice? How do I acquire a new client? Will client will come automatically to me, or as a CFM, I should put some effort to develop, showcase, and go and meet and talk about what do I do, how do I do, take some referral from other client, give me refer to any of your client in your list, I'll go and talk. Do have separate person to do it. Or if I don't have it, how do I get acquisition? How do I get a new client? How do I showcase my new work to somebody else? is always a challenge. And performance management, how do I measure? So, as an organization, as a CFM, if you have a multidisciplinary CFM, you have multiple vertical audit, accounts, taxation, indirect tax, FEMA, RERA, labor. You may have whatever maybe. How do I manage this efficiency? How do I manage the team? How do I look at their effectiveness, the client requirement, all those things, cyber security and data protection. Everybody will ask, any new client comes, how do you secure the data? Where is the data? Cyber security is like, even if you see SAC 1, SAC 2, SAC 3, whatever be the certification, nobody understand. It is like I can say always, cyber security is like a airbag in any car. Unless it opens up, nobody knows that whether it opens up or not. The cyber security is also like that. Unless there is the trespass, nobody will look into that, whether there is a cyber security or protection which is inbuilt or which is continuously available in the organization. Multi-generational workflows, we call it as a Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever we call it as, how do you manage? Their expectations are different, their thought process is different. You cannot deal with them. Actually, I started hearing from the large organization, the employees above 45 years are getting trained at the boardroom by the experts. How do you talk to Gen Zs? How do you talk? How do you behave? How do you react when they come? That is what is the training. It is not the other way. Gen Zs are not trained to how do you behave with the seniors. It is the other way, because that is the workforce we get. And if they don't have it, I cannot like manage my work. And hybrid work models, I don't know. I had about 2 to 3% of the CA firms have this model. It works if you have proper monitoring system. Brand positioning, these are all part of our growth scale. Because as I mentioned, these things I wanted to look at the creation of a value, behavior, attitude for the purpose of scale. I'm not telling for any other reason. How do I scale my practice? How do I scale my profession in terms of the employment, in terms of deliverable, in terms of the revenue, in terms of the profitability, in terms of my visibility? How do I do it? And retaining institutional knowledge is always a challenge, which is linked to my retention of the human manpower. And professional liability, probably top 50 Indian firms or top 100 firms may have this professional liability insurance, because they may have taken the risk of the assurance. If any of you are practicing assurance services, one should have this professional liability and reputational risk. Sir, I must have lost the yeah. Sorry, there was an internet connectivity issue. This is called technology. This is what is a disruption in the technology. Madhukar sir, able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and we can see this also.
Thank you.
We can hear you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. The final is the building sustainable future ready firm culture. And probably if we start implementing one by one, day by day, I'm sure that there is a values which is inbuilt in the organization, which turns into an attitude that has taken some action by way of the behavior for the purpose of scale. So this is the 1st July 2017. Almost we are reaching 9 years, near 9th year. Honestly tell how many of you have taken these things seriously. And if you ask me whether we have taken, even we have not taken it. It is serious is for the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, not for our chartered accountants. He said something, and we say that he will say we should only do it. Now, how do I do it? It's a very difficult It's like next to impossible unless this become a top to down approach. Madhukar sir, at least have spent about 500 hours in terms of integration of the CA firms for the growth to achieve at least from 1 to 10 highly impossible structure, highly unachievable structure from the regulatory aspects, including from the Companies Act, LLPs, CA Act, absolutely not able to achieve this. I don't want to say anything because it's a 75 years of the journey cannot be changed in last 10 years, but sufficient efforts are made by entire ecosystem or the stakeholders to achieve it is something which I would only tell based on my experience. As recent as on 5th June, I was in Delhi to discuss about the same thing. However, it's very less in terms of the visibility of achieving this. Even for next 10 years is only I can tell. But if you're able to achieve this, require only a top-down approach. There would be a various initiative from the government agencies and the government to achieve. As simple as I give an example, sir. In a product business, there are various initiative has been initiated by the government, like local procurement, like Atmanirbhar, procure from the Indian-made companies. At least if you wanted to take some of the incentives, you should take procure from the Indian companies or Indian manufacturing. That is in terms of the product. What is the effort we made in terms of bringing some concept in the service industry, especially this professional industry, where you should be like this. You should involve the Indian professionals or the indigenous service providers for you to provide these services. Something is very important for us to achieve this, sir. So as I mentioned, this presentation is prepared based on the 10 different values. These 10 different values is what should be my attitude to achieve these values, and the behavior. Behavior is nothing but the action points. So it's very difficult to conceptualize and explain this. That is why I wanted to tell the audience here how I am presenting the next slides, the practical aspect in my organization, which be able to scale it. The integrity and attitude for me is ethical thinking. For me to have the value of implementation of integrity, I should have a ethical thinking. I cannot have any other thinking other than the ethical, and my action point for me should be a honest advice to my client. Very difficult if you look at only a word called integrity. The meaning of an integrity is called a whole and complete. It's not like bits and pieces. The meaning of an integrity is called a whole and complete. For me to have a whole and complete, absolutely I cannot have any other thinking thought other than ethical. The moment ethical comes, we always look at morality versus ethical. So what is moral may not be ethical. It is very important to distinguish. There will have a challenge for us to take the decision. Accountability, which comes with the ownership and meeting commitments, can be one action point. When I say that I will meet at this 4 o'clock 30 minutes, I should ensure my meeting starts at 4 at 30 minutes. It's not at 4 even 31 minutes. That is a commitment. So learning, curiosity is an attitude, continuous upskilling. I'm sure that most of us is in this era of learning itself because of so much changes in the industry, so much expectation, so much challenges, so much of penalty classes or maybe other challenges for us overcome. Client centric, we all know that client is a person who always feed us. We cannot ignore the client. That is a very fundamental thing which we practice. My grandfather thought this because we are from a traditional business family. He thought always client is right. If client is right, it's your duty to make him right. So client centric, we cannot like ignore him. And what is that require is my service mindset. It's a proactive guidance. You know that your client is probably getting into a transaction which is not correct. Our duty is to communicate to him what you're doing is not correct, which may lead it to some of the trouble or a problem. Ensure that don't get into that. That's what I would like to say. Innovation, without an innovation, life could be a stoppage. Always innovation is a continuous process. And with that, I should have a growth mindset. I always think about with the innovation, what I can grow. For me to grow, what should be my innovation factor? And of course, technology. Today, technology, without technology, there is no life which is left for me and for you, because it's part and parcel of the life. Think that you do not have a mobile in a day. What are the hindrances? It is not that you will go into not able to live, but what are the hindrances? What are the limitations I have today? Is something which I should look at. That collaboration maybe inside, outside, with the individual, with the group, with the partner, with the institute, with the clients. Collaboration, how do I do it? For that is that knowledge sharing, and when I wanted to get something, I have to give something, is something which always we should look at. That excellence, quality focus, and also the consistent delivery. It is not that one quarter I given a quality, another 3 quarters I'm unable to do it. That comes with the consistency. Leadership is not about like you only a leader, creating a leader around you. The more you create a leader, the leader will always empowered and energized to achieve more and more. Finally, the value creation. If you do not have a value creation for an individual, for an organization, for a client, for a society, probably we have failed to achieve in our life. Is we always look at that. What I mentioned here is part and parcel of my organization called Venu and Vinay. In every work we do, every client we talk, every employee we have, we embed it and we keep telling it. It is not that it is absolute. Every time we also find it difficult to proactively put them into the mind and ask them to think it from. But at least we practice it at every step. We tell the employee, please follow, please look at that is as part of your practice and the growth. This is something value. What does a value? It has a worth to it. I just mentioned it. Okay. So this is about journey. Probably I say that I started my journey with nowhere and very happy, very not contented, very appreciable about our journey of today of 25 years of practice. Nothing to people who recognize us. I'm sure that many of you are present here is also of a similar story. You pat yourself for your journey. Okay. So this is what is something which I would like to tell you, because unless I appreciate myself, I will not appreciate others. I cannot appreciate others. Start appreciating whatever you achieve, whatever you have done as of now, and that is what is very much important. So this is a fundamental I wanted to share. I need not to go anywhere to look at what is value, behavior, attitude. Look at our family, look at our upbringing. I'm sure that we have thought by everybody from the day one. Be good, do good. Don't be lazy. Be honest. Don't be teach all that. Respect the elders. This is what I learned personally from all my ecosystem. Honestly, every time I do recognize their learning from either of them. Without them, probably I wouldn't have grown this much, because every step of mine or every achievement of is dedicated to either of these people journey, or maybe my achievement is only. I'd say that last 8 point I wanted to see. You can be measured your success with only two things. Till now, there is no third thing for somebody to measure the achievement. Either you have made money, made wealth, second, made a name or a fame. I don't think, probably, sir, Madhukar, sir, you should be help me. If anything beyond that, if somebody can recognize you.
Yeah, I will come back when I speak.
Yes, sir.
You
Okay.
ask some.
Okay. So this is something which I'm continuous to inquire myself. What does mean a growth? What does mean a success for somebody and success for somebody else is what I would like to say that. As I told, Venu and Vinay, if there is no technology or we don't have a technology, we don't do the work. That is a fundamental aspects in my organization. Having said, I'll show you what are the tools I use in my application in my organization. While I preparing this PPT, I surprised and my team, sir, this is the tool we use for this. This is a tool we use for it. I asked, don't we have a single tool? No, absolutely no, sir. Sir, this is the tools we use it in my office, sir. For the purpose of accounting, we use something. For the purpose of audit tools, we use something. For the purpose of application for GST, we use. For HR, we use something. For the purpose of payment, we use something. For the purpose of database, we use something. Practice management use. A different application, I use it from a different vendor. So it's always a challenge for an organization to integrate this and get a meaningful information, meaningful output, and which measure my efficiency. In spite of that, we try to use all these applications as much as possible in Venu and Vinay for the purpose of efficiency. And as I mentioned, if there is no tool, probably will not do the work. It is not about only Excel or a Microsoft Word. These are the tools we use continuously for the purpose of increasing the efficiency and the effectiveness. As I told you, some of the values which I mentioned is learn from all, look down on none. Like these are all something which is a part of the leadership quality. The moment I have this, I'm sure that people will start accepting, adopting, and being curious about what we do it. And as I mentioned, respect one person, respect the person, not the position. So probably you might have heard about this. This small story. This is the only what I can say is a slide which I've taken from the external when President John F. Kennedy has asked the housekeeping lady, "What are you doing?" She could have told that I'm sweeping or mopping the floor, but she said one word: "I'm helping put a man on the moon." That means that every employee in the organization is towards achieving the goal of an organization. The thought is different, the thinking process is different. This is I always look at this slide when I see the people or the something which is not think about the individuality rather than the organization. So as I mentioned, without a continuous growth, without a upskilling, there is no continuous growth. As a Venu and Vinay, as an organization, we have a separate department called Learning and Development. There is a manager, experienced person who heads this organization for the purpose of this. What all we do is like a continuous upskilling. We have a mandatory reading of 45 minutes every day from morning the moment they come. GST team will read about the GST, income tax will read about income tax, audit accounts. They read about what's happening and remaining people will listen and also share their input. So that has given a continuous upskilling, continuous growth of individual as well as the organization. And I say this with a very proud and a pride. From the day one, since 25 years, we ensured our organization, our office is a place to work, because more than 10 hours, for somebody it is a 12 hours, somebody sometimes is a 14 hours. If I do not have an office place, which office environment, which doesn't have a proper place to sit, work environment, I'm sure that is one of the drawback for you to retain the employees, and for myself only to stay in the organization is very important. This is my office. There are links which I have provided. Go back and see the links, which is Zoho people had come and taken the video of the organization along with the discussion. So this is some of the major team in my office. We have the organization in order to bring a accountability. Okay, I'm not showcasing with the intention to say what we do. It's only one of the value is accountability. One of the value is a leadership, which I've shown in the initial slide. I wanted to achieve that. Without I have the separate division, separate team, I may not able to achieve that leadership accountability, and also innovation. So I have a separate clear HR, hiring, onboarding to exit, a learning and development, training to monitoring. It's not only a training, we have a system of monitoring how much they are observing. If somebody has a lesser skill of observing, probably they need little more training, something which have it. Operation and delivery, I'll show you how do we track the services wise. Quality monitoring, we have a separate partner to ensure that they will do have a quality check. Not only the partner, we also engage the third party external professionals to look at and monitor the quality, because they can see from the external point of view and they can advise it. And accounting is very, very important. As a partner, you cannot sit and start raising the invoice, starting the collection, starting the money. So it should be a separate person. Honestly, I'll tell you, I always say that you pay 15-20,000 rupees to a person, he will get you 2 lakh rupees more to you. That is how this work in terms of because we raise a bill, we pay the GST, that fellow will not pay the amount. Then who will collect it? One fine day will come, sir, you reduce 10%. Chalo, you pay 10% less and pay it off. Don't allow that. Engage a person, part-time, full-time, depending on your billing or the collection. Engage a person to do that, so that your time is available. Otherwise, you end up with doing the accountant work, which is a 20,000 rupees per month salary versus your 2 lakh rupees of your costing. That's what that. And have a person to who will collect the money. Receivable management is very important in our office. One of the partner practice leader will head that and lead it. Is very important. So as I mentioned, various structure we have it, and this is the hierarchy. Why I say there is an hierarchy? Employee should know. Every person who comes to the organization as employee, they should know how my organization looks like, how organization looks like, where can I reach, and how do I reach it. This is an organization structure. This is part of my HR onboarding. Employees should know that what all the organization deals with, who are all the partners, because that employee will not meet any all of them. And what are the verticals I have it? How do I grow in the organization? Where do I reach it? This is what is the organization structure. We follow it and we have it. And as I told you, probably I quickly move because of the time availability. So as I mentioned that we use a Zoho Recruit, Staffing Go, Peplio as a major application, because I do not get this in a single application. It is not that I can't use a single, there is no single application to do all these activities. Invariably, I will have it. I'll show you what all that. This is for the purpose of my accountability, monitoring, client-centric, learning, value creation. Whatever be the value are shown, these are all the tools or the practices I should do for the purpose of me achieving those values. So these are all for purpose of, as I mentioned, monitoring, accountability, client-centric. This is the report. If you see this, my report will give you how many employees have it, how many consultants have it, how many male employee, female employee. This automatical system, monthly, the report would be thrown out by an HR system, which gives how much I have it on monthly basis and who all there. See, this is my opening on 8th June. Today is what? Today is only 8th, sir. Yeah. So this is generated as on today. What is my opening position? How many filled? What is the balance? This is how the system, unless I have this control, how do I scale my business? How do I scale my profession? How do I have visibility of my account, like organization? And I also tell you, as on 8th June, how many have joined this month, in the month of June, under May and June, May 26 to June 26, who are all joined, and under which manager, which reporting manager they have joined is automatically thrown out. What I'm trying to mention is, unless I have this in control, and I cannot grow and I cannot scale. And next is in terms of the management, service management, delivery, control and check, quality checks, and innovation collaboration. How do I do it? I don't know. I'll tell you about 1,000 services in a month we generate. 1,000 services for 200 plus employees. How do I monitor? How do I do it? How do they make them accountability, time delivery, effectiveness, and how do I improve? So this is an application we do it. Say example, till last week I have 1,000 services, and during this week I have created Noora 164 services. Last week I have completed 64 services. Some of the services are cancelled. I, as a partner, look at this cancelled services only. That is I'm most important to know why these services are cancelled. It may be duplicate, it may be client not accepted, or whatever be the reason. I focus only on this 18, not on remaining time. So out of services, for the purpose of calculation 1082, variance is 82. The person who is responsible should give why the variance has come 82. This is possible. I have a tool to it. Otherwise, it's not possible. See, this is 1100. Where all the services which is there and how it is spread across is what is important for me. And again, further you do deep dive into it, because every service comes with an accountability to deliver within the timelines. As of today, about 136 services are overdue. Against each employee we captured, against each vertical we have captured. Accounting 30 overdue, income tax 35 overdue. Against which employee is overdue, respective manager will call and discuss with them. Reason may be very genuine, but how do I reduce the gap? Maybe my end date I have given, instead of 30 days, I mentioned 25 days. Next time I ensure I'll put 30 days. Client is not coming back, which impacting my hours, because time is an inventory in every chartered accountancy office. If my inventory is spent without billing it, is impacting my profit, which is what is important. I bring the excellence, value as an excellence as part of it, value as an accountability as part of it, value as an adaptability I brought it. So with this, if I have a tracker, it becomes a responsibility of every employee to come back and discuss with the manager to come back and discuss with the partner, stating that this is the challenge we are facing for this overdue. It is not just for the sake of we generate the report. So this is the monthly, weekly, we generate the reports for the purpose of achieving the scale. Again, I'm just telling you, this session which I'm talking is how do I scale my practice, is something with the tool, with the application, with the process, with the people only I can achieve it. And as I mentioned that this is how we do it as a services, and which have a chargeable service, non-chargeable services. Every team member should log in 48 hours in a week and say that where they have spent their time. And this is how the I can say somebody captured. This is a report as of June 2026, 2:40 p.m. generated. So one of the employee has week is 25 to 31st June. Submitted date is 1st June. Their chargeable is 0, non-chargeable is 48. Probably the Lakshmi is a support team, because their time is not chargeable. It's like that. What is a chargeable? What is a not chargeable? Against which client this time has been spent is something which we calculated. Further, as I mentioned, that this will help me to look at that. What is my profitability? What is my profitability in terms of the services by vertical wise? Because if I say something which is not profitable, then why do I do that? How do I increase my services is always I should look at that. Imagine if I don't have a system, my profits are good, but some of the verticals may not be good. How do I improve my that? Is something. And further we go and look at that employee-based profitability. It's all about data. It's all about data. I can say that if you have a data is in place to capture the data, I should have a tool to capture it. If I have a tool to capture it, by default, we can generate the report. See, look at that. Somebody's cost, somebody's revenue, somebody has a surplus, and who doesn't have it, then I can look back and see that why the person is not able to make a surplus. It's a employee-based profitability, cost center-based profitability, partner-based profitability, location-based profitability. Data is a bit simple, but how do I analyze this is very important. So one more habit we have it. This is for the purpose of the collaboration. This is for the purpose of accountability and the value creation. We meet every week at 9:15 to 10 o'clock. Partners meeting we have. Many a time we meet online. Initially, whoever able to meet physically, we meet. Otherwise, online. And it's become a habit. About 40 to 60 minutes. each partner will present about 5 to 8 minutes of what happened. The 5 to 8 minutes are very powerful. Before that, their assistant would have been ready and submitted the report of that, and which has given a very good results in the last 15 months. The practice of this we started in the last 15 months, where each partner will share about the challenges, new client proposal, how do we work together, and annual targets to everyone. It is need not to be a revenue targets. It also the how do I upskill, how do I improve my interpersonal skill, how do I enhance my individual capability to delivery, and finally that will translate into the organization, which also is nothing but value creation. Unless I have a target, I do not know how many chartered accountants firm will have a target, meaningful target. It is not that last year I did X crore, this time 10% is my increment and X into 1.1 is my annual target. That is not, I'm looking at that. Meaningful annual target, which gives the overall growth to the organization, not only with the monetary, also with the value creation, also with the collaboration and a client centric. Including some of the partners will take MBA program, IMB, LLB programs, various things as part of it. And alumni are the real assets to us. I do not know how the alumni are close knitted with the organization. Probably with the technology, we should have a separate alumni group. They keep sharing what they have it. We also keep sharing it. Probably once we should meet, and there is a good exchange of the referrals also, because out of 100 qualified in my organization, 90 would be in a service and they need some or other services. Probably many of them are now it is a finance controller or CFO level also. So with the quality they know with Venu and Vinay, I'm sure that are like any other organization, they'll like to refer. So next in terms of the quality, I'll tell you, sir, when the first peer review we had a huge challenge with the peer review, because Institute has come out with something, the documentation for a peer review. First time we failed to satisfy the peer reviewer with the documentation, data, details, connecting, and that is that's opened up our thinking. I need not to go anywhere else. Let me implement what is the process of peer review of the institute. We have embedded as part of our practice itself. So what is the outcome of that is we have an internal audit for our organization. We have identified and hired a chartered accountant who do a audit. He is not only do the financial audit, not only do the compliance audit, he is responsible for tracking my UDIN, he is responsible for billing all my services, is responsible for looking at the margin, not only the financial compliances, non-financial compliances, including the infrastructure compliances to track by my electrical safety, DG safety, fire safety, cyber security. He has a simple checklist on regular basis. He should have it. I do not know how many we have implemented that. This has given a good input to us, and also it has reduced our dependency on our people, which also enhanced my value creation to the entire organization. When I say this, it is not only expected from my end. When my people go to audit, they also look at that what is they don't have, when what we have in VNV, what they don't have it, they started recommending that. So the vision what we created is not for the walls, not on the walls. Everyone who comes to an organization will understand the word-to-word meaning of this, and we try to embed it, implement, keep telling that, we keep reminding them whenever they talk to somebody, deliver the services. If you ask, have you achieved? We have not achieved 100%, but at least this is in the background of the mind of every employee, every partner when they talk. So this is what is the something which in order to bring them together, we have an office outing every year. We go for a day or two, and we also recognize and publish the every quarter champions based on the various parameters performance, starting with the individual aspect to the group to the organization, how much they contributed individually. We recognize and we display it on the board, which is visible to everybody in the organization, which create a competition. Also, whoever comes to the office, they feel proud of it. Many a time their parents come, when they see the people on the board, they're really, really proud of their children or maybe the organization itself. So also we are part of the CSR because ultimately we have taken it from the society, from the organization point of view. We adopt few of the destitute children and we train them. This is a journey and this is what we give it to all our employees from time to time. You involve. Society is important. Society is bigger than individual is something we inculcate. And we say that alumni meet is a recent 25 alumni meet. We have a fun, we have a connect. They bring their bonding to the organization. So as I mentioned, many other initiatives in order to achieve the integrity, accountability, learning, client-centric, innovation, collaboration, excellence, leadership, adaptability, and value creation. These are all some of the value which results into a behavior of the organization. When I say organization, individuals of the organization, which comes as an attitude, as for the purpose of scale. It may be whatever I presented is for the purpose of scaling the office, scaling the performance, scaling the revenue, scaling their branding is only I have spoken about it is something which I many other initiative in the given time I have said whatever is possible, which I see every day. There are many things which I don't see, that is not I've captured it. Whatever by practice, which has resulted a real growth in my organization. And also we implemented similar in other organizations also. That is what is possible. The moment I implement, I get to know it's a time tested. I can go back and tell all others, look at this is what is possible. See is what is that we have made it in the last 25 years of our journey, and we are growing, and growing comes with these values in our practice. So with this, I'm concluding my presentation, sir. And anything is available, I am more than happy to share replay to. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for such practical and a powerful session. Your session has clearly shown that the scaling of CA practice is not only about more clients, more assignments, or more team members. It is about building a right professional architecture, the right values, the right system, right behavior, right communication, and the right mindset. So thank you so much, sir. So we move on to the next session. It's now my privilege to invite CA Madhukar and Heer Gange, sir, the chairman members in practice, to take the session on intellectual humility. CA Madhukar Heer Gange, sir, is a distinguished professional, respected mentor, and one of the most thoughtful voices of the accountancy profession. He is widely admired for his ethical clarity, practical wisdom, professional depth, and lifelong commitment to strengthening the CA practice. Sir, we are honored to have you with us. May I request you to kindly take over the session? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Priyanshu. I think, first of all, I should acknowledge the presence of our SAFA president, Mohammad Humayun Kabir, and also Vice President Prabin Jha, who have seemed to be online all the time. So it's really an honor for us that you are watching it the whole time, sir. I would like to mention to you that, one of the goals I had put in my life when I was around 40 was to create leaders. And we used to have a study circle called Akshara. Even today it is there. There are 150 people in that study circle. I have stopped going to that study circle 2-3 decades back. But the first person who took over the study circle from me was Vinay Tyagraj. So every person who joins it becomes a very big leader himself. And they have a ready-made platform. So Vinay, you asked me, what is it other than money and name? So I'll try and mention a few things. They may be related to money and name. I would say that the biggest thing which our office or me as a professional has created is an empowering ethical culture. That means it's not only something which is ethical, it shows that ethics is successful. It pays. You will get money also. One. Second, we have seen that we have shared our knowledge without restraint through books. Our office has written totally, maybe about 40 books now. Last few years, I am not there. They are writing on their own. Then I think what you have done, what we have done, is that we have got the client's trust, and this doesn't go. Even if I go away, you go away, your firm will still enjoy that trust of your clients. It will go on. One more area which I think very important for us, what is the biggest takeaway is how we have empowered the SMPs who have lost hope. We have given them ways and means of becoming proud and earn a good living. I think one more thing which I look at is reform in indirect taxes. So this was also one of the goals in my life when I was 40. And to some extent, I think I've achieved it. Creation of leaders was one more point which was there. I think I have done it, even you have done it, but you have not mentioned it. I think one more point is that anybody you touch, if you are adding value, whoever it may be the auto driver who takes you, the person who is doing the sweeping in our office, whoever it is, all in all, I think I have proved that net givers always win. So I think this is a reply to what you had said, money and fame, a little beyond, but all connected. So I will now go to my topic. My topic is intellectual humility. In fact, I should tell you, the topic sharing is not enabled, Priyanshu. Priyanshu? Request to allow sharing is not allowed, it says. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, it is there. Thank you, technical team. Now, this is a topic which I have not chosen. It is a topic chosen by my secretary. And I should also tell you, these people have become so good. They are able to make out what I want, what I will say also. So they have designed something because this speaker after winning, he is unavailable. Last moment, they couldn't get a replacement. So you know who comes in. The joker in the pack comes in. So I will try and make some sense out of this topic. And thank you, Alok, for preparing this for me. Let me see. Of course, the philosophy is mine only. So let me see how I can add some value today to the people online. Sir, where is this whole story starting from? And this is starting from one of my observations in the last decade of my practice. What is the major reason why firms don't grow, professionals don't grow, partners don't grow, managers don't grow? What is the one reason, among many others, but one major reason? And I felt that, at least in our office, which is a specialized office, where even the articles knowledge will be beyond the chartered accountant's knowledge outside, there is unfortunately a thought process which says, I know GST, I know all the procedures, I know the latest case law, I know the latest interpretation, because we have a system of learning and teaching. But I felt this is the biggest thing which can cause a lot of problem. Clients also will call sometimes, they will simply assume you know it. And they will ask you a question expecting you to give an instant answer. And if one is not careful, one may answer. Now, there is a possibility that you know everything about the subject, you have dealt with it. Like yesterday, last week, you dealt about 20 times with the same question. Now, in such cases, it is well settled, no recent dispute is there, and you don't want to, put up a price. You know it, you're sure about it, then you can answer. But when is it that you are normally sure about it? This is where I want people to reflect. I'm talking about people who think they know. Is it well settled? Are you 100% sure? Then only you should take this route. Which means, say I am there, I am the person who's answering. I will tell you that I will only answer 5 times out of 100 immediately. Because not fully sure. I have some 2% or 3%, 5% doubt. There was some, High Court decision. Though there is a Supreme Court decision in my favor, there was a High Court decision which questioned the Supreme Court thought process in some way. Now, if it is so, or I have not updated for the last 1 month, whatever the reason, this can be quite common. So out of 100 queries which come to me, at least 60% of the time I'm in this space. I can guess 95% I will be right, but I will not take the chance. Then there is, of course, not so sure. And if that is so, that is also around 30%. Not so sure because the question asked is not something I have dealt with in the last 2 months. So there might have been changes. I was not very sure of the logic of one side or the other. I thought there are 2 interpretations possible. This is around 30 out of 100. And the last is, I actually do not know. Then the last one is very easy. So the client asks me a question, assuming I know, and I tell him, no, I don't know this at all. Now the problem which comes is that we think we are experts, we are expected to know, and therefore we go for a confident guess. And we think it is to protect our image that we are experts. Very dangerous. The best for not being so sure or even less sure is, let me study it before I commit and return with a considered view. This is a better way of answering the client. Why? Because you are not allowed as an expert. If you are a junior, maybe somebody will give you a leeway. But if you're a senior, they won't give you a leeway. And you cannot be, if you're wrong, there can be a little of a problem in your professional image and life also. And what I have seen, I have seen this in the last 10 years of my practice also. Many times when I used to study, tell them that I need to relook at this. I can give you a sort of opinion, but I don't want to do it. Let me be sure. Give me a day or give me 1 week, depending on how much surety I have. I will return to you with my view. If it is not so sure, then I will even ask them, please share the documentation with me, because this seems to be a complex case. One document can change my opinion. So please send all the documentation, let me study and get back. So what is intellectual humility and what it is not? It is not that I have self-doubt or I am nervous. I am not fishing for reassurance. Like they'll say, sir, I have full faith in you. I have been with you for 20 years. We know you are an acknowledged expert. No, we are not fishing for that. It is not simply not knowing the subject. I know the subject to a great extent, maybe to a great depth, which hardly few people in the state or in the city or in the country know. But it is and unflinching awareness of the limits of our knowledge, held steadily even under pressure to appear as if I know. This is a very important statement. I would like to advert to the very famous philosopher who said, "Do not ask me what is the extent of my knowledge. I do know the extent of my ignorance, which is quite unlimited." This was said by a scholar 3,000 years back. And this, I think, is a bedrock of what all professions should be. We should not think or appear to be all-knowing. Self-awareness is a knowledge about myself. Intellectual humility is the knowledge about my knowledge, what I do not know. And there can be many things, what I do not know, which I did not know. That means I don't know that there are areas in my area of practice, which may be GST, which I do not know that I do not know. That there is a link between GST and maybe marine biology. I don't know anything about marine biology, but if there's a classification issue on algae, maybe I need to know that. I'm just making that up, just for the thought process of giving an example. 3 habits of a humble mind. In fact, I need to share with all the viewers that I was a very arrogant practitioner when I was around 40. And I was in this I know type of space at that time. After 20 years, I came to a point that I don't know. I know a little, but not much. That state I came after 20 years, when my knowledge had increased by at least 2-3 times from the time I was 40. So there are a few rules. One is fact. Fact is fact. There's nothing, doesn't change. But sometimes we have stories told up again and again, and in our mind they become facts. We are told, or we read, or the social media makes us believe there is something which is there, which is the decision of a Supreme Court, say. But it is wrong. There was no Supreme Court decision on that at all. But it got repeated so many times in articles, newspapers, and social media that we thought that the Supreme Court has made a decision. For example, on the RSWs, Resident Welfare Associations, we were led to believe by social media, newspaper, articles, even in famed magazines, that there is a Supreme Court judgment which has cleared the issue beyond doubt. But it was not true. It was only a Kerala High Court decision. So that inference was what is happened there. And there was an assumption that since everywhere it is coming, the same thing is being told, that is the truth. But it was not a fact. So what I know from what I believe is the first stage of a humble mind. The second, very, very important aspect, many of us who are in this professional world, we sometimes want to hold on to our interpretation rather than listen, or listen fully. If somebody has said something which is actually a possible new way of looking at something, it doesn't mean that I have got impacted. In fact, I have got elevated. If I learn something from another person, even if that junior is a person who is an article in my office. In fact, in our office, at least a dozen occasions have come when juniors, that is our articles students, have come and shown us an interpretation which we ourselves did not know at the time when they showed us the interpretation. Initially, we told them, no, it's like this. But the article persisted, showed us what we were thinking, why it is not correct. And after that, we changed our view. So anybody in our organization, outside our organization, when we go to the tribunal, when we go to the high court, where somebody is arguing, don't assume that that person's argument is not well thought of just because he's a junior. He may have an argument which actually can upturn my well-settled opinion. So whenever anybody corrects us, maybe it's a good point to look at why he's saying so. And if it is an error, we should actually gift him. We should compliment him. We should send him an email saying that this is the way I thought. You have shown me my error of reasoning. Thank you so much. It will help me and my clients. This ego, no, is a very big problem. I have faced this for many years. From the age of, I think, around 2020 onwards, even in my CA studies and later, this ego has come in the way for a long time, till about the age of 45. After that, I learned to understand that I need to look at what is being taught and not get into this ego trip. So the third habit of a humble mind is to update the moment the facts or the view, which is alternate view, which is better than what about, rather than defend it till thy kingdom come. The SMP, unfortunately, I have been on this journey to empower SMPs for a long, long time. Not our office only. Of course, our office got the maximum benefit, but SMPs as a group, I felt that they need protection because they have possibly not got the best guidance. And what happens is that I learn from my principals, and my principal, if he's not academically inclined, I also may not get academically inclined. I may also tend to take shortcuts. I may think that is the way of the world. And you know, in India, the tax system is quite corrupt. I think in the SAFA countries, most of the SAFA countries also have this corruption as one of the diseases. Now, many people have realized, including the governments, that corruption needs to be eradicated, but it's not so easy. It has got in deep. So it's an issue, very big challenge. If there is a large firm like ours, I don't call ourselves large, I still call ourselves medium. But if a larger firm partner like us or Vinay, who had talked before us, he has a technical and research desk. There are people who are paid to study and write articles, find out flaws in the arguments. They have a peer review, they have a third-party review, they have regular interactions, they also have debates. They present papers where people will come and challenge them. So many large firms also have quality review. It can be a peer review, it can be self-review, it can partners review, it can be also a third-party review. Like Vinay was saying, they have internal audit. So for their financial things, they have an independent internal audit. And also, very important, a whole pipeline of learners who are eager to get depth and correct the partners. The SMP, the small and medium practitioners, the person who is the proprietor or partner is the technical desk. He is also the quality reviewer. When the notice arrives, he is often the only person who knows what to do beyond taking help of one of the AIs which can generate a reply to the show cause notice. This is a problem. So sometimes the sole proprietor or SMP partner, he is expected to know everything, but he cannot know everything. It is not checked. Therefore, he bears the full cost of being wrong. And once a person is wrong, the client loses confidence fully, and he talks about it. So this is somewhere where what we have learned, what every day we learn, and once in a way we also learn whatever our current thought process is, it is not correct at all. This is a very important point. You know, the way GST, I can talk about GST since we used to practice GST, was rebuilt, then rebuilt again, so many changes, so many notifications, department view totally against the law of the land, faceless assessment, who is the person who's on the other side, does he understand the law? Then you have the NFRA breathing down your neck if you do something wrong. Standards not there for consulting at all in India. Now, of course, our committee, not our committee, there's a group which is working on consulting standards. So a view that was correct in 2019 may be obsolete today. So we need to keep on updating because of this. And also, the biggest threat to us is the LLPs, the large language models, which will give your client answers. For example, if the client is using Claude, and whatever question is asking you, if he's asking Claude also, Claude may possibly have at its disposal much larger information base than we can ever put into our head. So we have to mark, we have to keep updated. And today, to say something that I know, you may be wrong. And if you are wrong, you are in trouble. So after seeing what is happening in the world, especially with the AI coming in, knowledge today is not at all sure. Even that first, fully sure part of it will not be sure unless you are doing it on day to day. Same issue you have dealt with, you have examined it just day before yesterday, fully. Then okay, you can be sure. The real danger is that once you make a mistake, and it is a false center, you thought that you are right, what will be the impact on the client? What will be the impact on the market which you have carefully built? We think that it is correct, but actually we have not read enough, we have not discussed enough, we have not updated enough that we could have questioned it. So therefore, even if there is one iota of doubt, that is a real danger if we are going to put out our neck and give an answer. As I said, in about 14, 15 years of my practice, I was quite an arrogant person, opposite of humility. And this is what I had to develop when I got into partnership and built this firm. So the honest pause is the best. Let me check and come back. If the client is in a hurry, you can even tell him, I'll come back to you in an hour. But if there is a little more doubt, you can come back, go back to him and say, this requires further study. I can give it only after 1 or 2 days. One of the best ways which I have seen is second opinion. In fact, in my practice, one of the ways in which we built our practice is to refer and get advice from people who are better than us. For example, when I used to get custom cases for almost 2 decades, I used to take my advice from Sri K.S. Ravishankar, who passed away a couple of years back. He was my guru. And I would go to his office, explain the case to him. Then we would chit chat for some time, and then he would give me his opinion, or he would ask me to read something. He would give me half a dozen case laws and say, read all this and then come back. And I would read and go back to him again for his opinion. Similarly, there was one advocate who is still there, very much practicing in indirect taxes, customs, Mr. Guru Raj. In our office, we have got two second opinion givers whom we have kept on a retainer, who are advocates, who have a very good name in this market. One is a senior advocate, another is a practicing advocate who was a chartered accountant also. One is in South India, one is in North India. But this second opinion is something which gives strength that after we do all the work, if we go to him, and 90% of the time they agree. And they will say, why don't you add this also to support your case? But 10% of the time, they'll say, I think you may be wrong. Please look at this. There is a view which is there in the market, which is talked about 360 degrees. Don't only ask your seniors, ask your juniors. Today, our juniors are so smart. Some of them are winning accolades in the seminars, presentations they are giving. Juniors are very fast at understanding, and they are very fast with technology. So learning downwards is also something which is a part of learning. Maybe 25 years back, if you had told me this, I would have laughed. What does that junior know? I would have told. But I have been since proved wrong on many, many occasions. Also, very, very important. As and when we are learning anything, please make notes. Write it down. In fact, I myself have not followed, but there are people in our office who follow. And I know around 25 years back, when I met Sri Arvind Datar, who was an advocate then and who is an advocate now in the Supreme Court, who has also written books on customs and also the Constitution of India. A person who is an authority known across the legal world. At that time, we were fighting a case together. And I saw him sitting in the tribunal in Chennai. And he had one thick book, 400-page book. And it was full, it was almost full. He was writing in the sides. I told him, what are you doing? He says, Madhuka, you can't remember everything. So this note is not just a note. If you see, this is an index book. So I keep on writing here because I just cannot, I don't have the time to replace this. So I still carry it around and write whenever I learn something new. And this is an advocate who must have put 20,000 hours into studies. This is a discipline he built. I should say I was not able to build, but I do advise people. So I tell them that this is, at least make notes. I make note of everything. Even today, when Vinay was speaking, I was making notes. And in the end, he asked me a question. I didn't answer, if you observe. I said, I will get back to you. Because I wanted to think, reflect on what he said. What is there in profession beyond money and name, he had asked. So I could think about 5, 6 things. But if I had answered, I would have given one thing. This is very important. This is a humility to say, let me get back. Give me some time. Sometimes all of us make mistake. Even the elephant misses its step. I know my guru used to say, Madhuka, there's nothing like truth. So once, in fact, something happened and I mentioned something and I said, sir, sorry, I offended you. I think I have taken opposite view to you. He said, why should you be sorry? Tell me why you are taking opposite view. Then we argued for about 2 hours. And after that, it was about bottling. It was in central excise. What is manufacture? Whether bottling of liquor is manufacture was the question. I was of the view that it's not manufacture. He was of the considered view that it is manufacture. And we kept on arguing. And finally, I gave an opinion saying there can be an alternative view that it is manufacture. And after 2 months, the Madhya Pradesh High Court gave a decision which was in my favor. That my favor means my interpretation. And you know what? Next time I met Mr. Ravi Shankar, he said, Madhuka, that bottling case, I think the courts have decided to go with you. You see the humility of that person, his knowledge of income tax or central excise, FEMA, was astronomical, at least about 10 steps above me. But he had that possibility to say, I think I was wrong that time. He didn't say it fully, but he did say in an indirect way. This is something which I think many of us, as we get older and more successful, especially after we earn a lot of money, somewhere this humility starts getting, chipped off. So what we have done is that we have built a humble firm. Anybody can ask a question, a junior can ask a question. And we see that they can really ask a question. We encourage them sometimes by saying the wrong things. Peer review, as I mentioned, is a very good practice, and it can be done within your firm or with your colleague. Another person who's practicing in the same area is not your competitor. He has his own clientele, you have your own clientele. You can always share notes. As long as you are ethical and don't grab each other's client, you can practice with anybody. That's another subject itself. So succession is not me going away with my knowledge. The knowledge in my head should not retire with me. It should go into the firm. It should go into the head of all my juniors. And a culture of honest doubt outlives each and every one of us. This is what we realize as we get older. So I'll find out ways I know. And there's nothing wrong. No client will ever take you wrong, let me tell you. No client has paid me less because I have said, I don't know, I will examine and get back. Let me examine this and revert by Thursday with my considered view. This is a sentence which will be respected by each and every client. In the age of AI, as I had said earlier, each one of this can be a problem. A machine has nothing to teach you. Only a foolish person will say this. If you use AI right now in the areas which I am talking about, I will get something to add to this presentation itself. Or blind surrender. Oh, this is a it's a large language model LLM, and I have verified in 3-4 LLMs. Perplexity, Claude, ChatGPT 5, everything I have verified. Opus. So it is correct. No, sorry. It can see AI can be wrong. And we are seeing it being wrong everywhere. Don't think that the machine is correct, because most of these machines only take the popular way out. The maximum answers which are in a particular direction is what it will tell you, number one. Number two, more dangerous. All these AI machines will tell you what you want. It will assume that Madhukar is the knowledge of the universe. This is a very wrong concept, but machines do this because they want you hooked. They keep praising you. If you see, you put a point, they'll say, it's a very good point you have thought about, as if it was something great. Actually, it was a basic point. Even the junior in your office would have thought of points better than that. Use the AI, verify it. Let it augment your judgment. As of now, at least. Maybe in another 10 years, there may be a different thought process. You are the person who is the best judge today. Your experience, your gut feeling, these are all things built over practice, years of practice. And sometimes something which is a popular view may be totally wrong also. Remember that. So humility is not smallness. It is if I have to understand it, it is a very high order. Only a person who is fully confident, fully secure, fully, I would say, a complete professional does not have to pretend. He can say, I don't know this. For SMPs, the most sensible, practical thing in your practice is to say that I will check up and come back to you. So with this, I would like to end. If there are any questions for Vinay or for me, I would be happy to take it up. I don't have much time, 6 minutes. Vinay actually exceeded about 10 minutes. So let us give both of us a chance to answer a few questions. If we are not able to answer your question, Priyanshu will let 1 minute left. He will thank all of us and we'll have to go home because that's the way the structure is.
There are not much questions, sir.
Okay, very good.
So, thank you very much, sir, for your such an insightful and thought-provoking session. So, you have been very beautifully brought out that the growth of CA practice is not merely a functional but technical knowledge, but professional attitude, clarity, and purpose, ethical conduct, client orientation, and continuous self-development. So, there are some questions. So I'll take Vinay T's sir question
Yes.
because he needs to go to a meeting. So if a CA firm is seen as an operating system, what are the outdated codes or legacy behaviors that must be deleted first before the firm can truly scale?
So one thing, I may not able to give entire aspect of it. One of the aspect is look at that your client list. Look at the client list categorized as ABC client, probably who is taking 80% of your time, where 20% of fees you are paying it. That is the first filter we should do it. Second, the clients where you are not giving a value addition to him. Example, last year he paid 10,000 rupees income tax. This year he'll come and say, sir, pay 10,500 rupees, file the tax return. So what is the value addition? I'm doing it. There is no value addition. You may pay the fee of 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 rupees. Probably we are not giving a value to him. So he don't respect us. So there is no meaning to service him in terms of there is no value addition. Third, look at the client list who is always a delay. He comes only at the last time where you're not satisfied with the work you deliver it, the quality you deliver it. Please eliminate. The fourth type of the client, always who don't respect, always who crib for payment of fees to us. Eliminate it. Like this, one is look at the client, categorize their quality and also their expectation. That is a one way to look at the scalability, because the theory of 80-20 works there also. 80% of our efforts goes for the 30% of the client, wherein actually 20% of the clients are contributing 80% of revenue. So that is a starting point for us to look at that. The one of the scale probably could be the one of the aspect to do it. Priyansh.
Okay, sir. So next one, this is for Madhukar, sir. In professional practice, clients often expect CAs to give clear and confident answers. In such situations, how can intellectual humility help a chartered accountant acknowledge that a matter requires deeper examination without affecting the client's confidence in the profession?
One point which I think even Vinay had stressed, and I am also stressing, is that there is nothing called, lack of confidence if I ask for time. Any client who suspects my professionalism because I have taken time is not a client I need to service. There are people also, many times, especially they are called, opinion hoppers. They will simply call you. There'll be a big client having a big case, 10,000 crore case, 5,000 crore case. He will call you and ask for your inputs. Now, if you say, oh, you please share everything, he will not come back only. But he has not come for your opinion. 5,000 crores case, will he just call you and ask you on the phone? He will come with a big stack of information or full file. He will come and tell you the history of his company first, then only he will tell you anything. So you have to understand, sometimes people are only seeking free opinions and they will come for that. Sometimes they are not, they genuinely they'll come to you and they expect that, okay, Madhukar Iragange, so many books he has written, he will know. But when they come, we tell them that this book, whichever book you talked about, okay, I have written on GST for real estate. Yeah, the book is 2,000 odd pages. But this book was updated 4 years back. So many things have happened last 4 years. And I would like to verify and get back to you. I don't want you to get into a problem. Now, honestly, when you give an answer like this, no client will go away. In fact, he will appreciate it because he has come to you with some thought process in his mind. And of course, you have to be honest in this thing, Priyanshu. That is very important. If you are
Yes.
dishonest, you just want to, extract more money, client comes to you. So this is my answer, that you never lose credibility, you never lose goodwill, you never lose where you are. You don't never lose respect because you say, let me verify and come back. But you should not say, let me verify and come back, when maybe just 1 hour back you gave an opinion, after written opinion you have given just 1 hour back to another client, and the same identical question has come. Then you can just give him that answer. Are you getting? So that is
Yes.
the way it should be.
So one answer, many questions.
Yes.
One answer for many questions. So as we come out to close of today's webinar, we sincerely thank all our esteemed dignitaries and the speakers for their valuable presence and guidance. We express our deep gratitude to CA Praveen Kumar Jha, sir, Vice President SAFA, for his gracious welcome remarks. Mr. Mohammad Humayun Kabir, sir, President SAFA, for his inspiring address. Sri Madhukar Narayan Hirgange, sir, for his support and taking the session at a very shorter notice. Thank you very much, sir. And C. Vinay Tyagraj, sir, for delivering a highly relevant and practice-oriented session on reprogramming the CA's practice operating system. So we also
Thank you,
extend
Priyanshu,
Thank
for
you, sir.
conducting the session well as usual.
Thank you, sir. And also we extend a sincere thanks to SAFA and the members of the institute who have been joining us today. So we've got around 1100 plus members today, and wherein 120 members from other SAFA countries, just for the information. And thank you all for once again joining us today. We look forward to your continued participation in the forthcoming webinars. Thank you and have a great evening ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.